Welcome back to the Greatest Storyteller podcast. I'm your narrator, Omari, and today's story is titled, Can I Touch Your Hair? So, I'm a woman. I'm a woman who just so happens to be Black, and I work in corporate America. I like to think that I'm intelligent, forward thinking, savvy, all the way around business professional that, in my opinion, is a natural born leader. I also would like to think that I have grit and grind and the wherewithal to successfully execute in whatever position that I serve in. But no, you see, in certain corporate spaces, my gifts and talents, they're only secondary to my appearance, and more specifically, my hair. And Miss Katie McFirth, oh, that heifer, she reminded me of just that. So I work in a managerial role for a Fortune 500 company in the finance space. And at this company, the dress code is business professional. So there is no sweatpants or dress down Wednesdays or jean Fridays. Oh, and don't you dare walk into the building with flip flops, open toe shoes, or sneakers. Nikes to be specific. Oh, you guys, and here's a doozy. Stockings Stockings are not optional for women. That's right. Can't see those bare legs, girlfriend. It's the latest update to the dress code policy. Anyway, it's a traditional company and it's a traditional company with traditional rules. And I honestly cannot be upset about it because I signed up for it by taking the position. So I normally come to work dressed in my Sunday's best. So that means looking good from head to toe. And I normally have my hair in like a sleek, pulled back bun look every now and again. I'll wear, my hair down with light, bouncy curls and a few extensions in the back just for that fullness effect. But overall, I like to think my look is pretty kosher. I don't go outside of the fray. Now, I do have this beach vacation coming up, and I've been thinking about the different hairstyles that I want. But honestly, I know for sure I want something that's easy, something that I can get wet and not worry about. Basically, anything that requires little to no maintenance. So I was debating between either box braids or faux locks. I'm not sure which way I'm going right now, but those are definitely my two top options. So, anyway, I'm in the office and I'm headed to this in person staff meeting. So, just to give you a flavor, this staff meeting consists of managers, senior managers who report into our director. And we give updates on everything pertaining to our teams, whether it's our staff, if it's our numbers as far as sales are concerned. I mean, anything you can think of, that's what we're discussing in those staff meetings, including vacations and any other light topics around personal items, right? So, for example, if I am not feeling well, well, that's not something we would talk about in a staff meeting. But anyway, vacations is a good example. Okay. So, back to the story. So, I'm giving the download on the business affairs that fall under my purview. And at the end of my updates, I tell those who are in the room that I'm going on a trip to Jamaica in 2 weeks. And so I'm sharing this information with the expectation that I'm going to have adequate backup in place while I'm gone. And my colleague, Katie, she is eager to probe me on my vacation. I could see it across the room. So Katie is an interesting bird, not a bad person at all, but she's just different. So at the end of the meeting, Katie walks up to me and says, "Oh my gosh, girl, you are going to Jamaica. Yeah, man." Wait, what? Now, I have to admit, I was thrown off by that yeah, man comment, but then I reminded myself, this is Katie. Katie is this woman who happens to be white. She's from the Midwest. And Katie has this proclivity to try to relate to people that she's around, but sometimes how Katie relates can come off offensive. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Katie will see two Black women holding a conversation in the break room, and she'll come over, uninvited, by the way, and say something silly like, "Hey there, what it do, girlfriends?" Wait, huh? And in her mind, y'all, she finds that shit innocent. I mean, this girl is smiling ear to ear, waiting on a response to that silly ass introduction. And what's crazy is Katie doesn't talk like that. And girl, neither do we. Anyway, Katie, I know, is genuinely excited for me. Like I said, she's not a bad person. She really was enthusiastic about me going to Jamaica for her own reasons, right? And so we're walking back to our respective offices, and she starts asking those probing questions that I knew she was going to come to me with. And so she starts saying, "Oh, who are you going with? Girl, how long are you going to be gone? You got to send me pictures of your vacay." Now, Katie, I say, I'm not sending pics of my personal vacation with you or any of my other colleagues. But I will tell you, I am getting my hair done for my vacation this week, and I'm really looking forward to it. So Katie says, "Well, I can't wait to see you and your new look girlfriend. Big things coming." And before I could respond to that big teens comment, the girl was off to the races, to wherever she was going. And I went my way, and that was that. Okay, so then next week I come to the office and I have my new hairdo. I decided to get the faux locks because I thought it was just appropriate for my Jamaican trip. So my locks look amazing. When I tell you they were long, soft, very natural looking locks, I mean, I absolutely love this look on me. But for work, I just thought it would be appropriate for me to style my locks in a way that I'm thinking in my head won't get a lot of attention. But I'm no dummy. The truth of the matter is, locks are different, especially for my work environment, especially on my level. And I like to think that my cohorts and colleagues across the organization have had to seen locks at some point in their life. But I do understand that there are negative stereotypes that come with this particular hairstyle. And I can't lie, a part of me was nervous to come to work with this new look, not because I was scared of the feedback, but I just didn't want to discuss, defend, or help decrypt anything about my hair for white people, right? I don't want to explain how my hair went from straight and flowy to locks in just one weekend. I just didn't want to do it. But there is always, and I do mean there is always that one person who's so curious that it drives them to places, spaces, and conversations that they should not be at. And that person is Katie, y'all. So I'm walking to my office with my new locks and I am focused. I just want to get to my office and get to work. And I kid you not, I could hear someone yell from behind, "What Guan?" I was, wait, huh? When I tell you I was literally stopped in my tracks. And the funny thing is, I didn't even have to turn around and see who said it because I already knew. I already knew who it was. Now, now at this point, it's just a matter of me responding to this motherfucker and explaining or trying to understand where the fuck did this accent come from? And more importantly, how does she know Jamaican sayings? This is really weird. But I eventually say, "Oh, hey, Katie." And I kid you not, I like beeline for my office because again, I don't want to discuss, defend, or decrypt. So Katie, who clearly knows no boundaries, quickly walks closer to me and says, "Oh my gosh, I am loving your dreads. Can I touch them?" Now pause. A couple of things here. One, where I'm from, the term dreadlocks is not accepted. And the way I understand the origin of the word dreadlocks is that white people found locks to be dreadful. And for that, when they would see people of color with locks, they would refer to their hairstyle as dreadlocks. Again, that's just my understanding. How much truth is behind that story, I really don't know. But I know it kind of sort of makes sense. And I just always referred to locks as locks. because they're not dreadful. They are beautiful. So anyway, Katie's reference to my hairstyle being dreads, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, it made me feel a sort of kind of way. But I'm gonna give Katie the benefit of the doubt and assume that Katie doesn't know the background of dreads versus locks. And again, I really didn't want to take the time to educate her in that moment. Um, yeah, those kinds of things get exhausting, but whatever. But now, on the other hand, Katie asked to touch my hair. Why? Why? That is so weird. What's next? You want to see my coochie hair to see if that matches my head? I mean, come on. My hairstyle is really not a phenomenon. It's just hair. So I tell Katie, no, you can't touch my locks, but I do appreciate your admiration for the uniqueness that is my hair. Y'all, Katie stares at me with this silly blank look in her eyes while she's blinking profusely. It was almost like her feelings were hurt, but Katie dismisses or she pushes through and says, okay. And she's like having this weird halfway smile. And she in her own way kind of apologizes and says, she didn't want to offend me. And that was just the end of that, right? So, what's the moral of the story? White people, please don't ask to touch a black woman's hair. In fact, don't ask to touch nobody damn hair unless you're a hairstylist. And listen, I really don't believe Katie had any intentions of being offensive or rude or mean. But when it comes to really, it doesn't matter where you're at, but if you're in a professional setting, some things just shouldn't be a topic of conversation or it shouldn't even be questioned unless it's pertaining to work. Hair is just that. It's just hair. It's not meant to be talked about. You give a quick comment. Oh, it's different. Oh, it's beautiful. And then move on. All of the subtopics like texture and curls and length and touch and all that bullshit, you may end up being cursed out and probably in patois. Anyway, again, don't nobody touch nobody here. The end. Thanks for listening. Share your thoughts on this story. Also, be sure to check out some of my other great stories on the Greatest Storyteller podcast.